to Art Dust, hosted by Glenda Gibson and
Donna Druin.
And today we are going to talk about isolation as artists. And actually, Donna and I started Christian Artists Together, which has now morphed into or become this beautiful dust, hence Art Dust podcast.
Yep.
One of the reasons we started that, apart from being a mutual support for each other, was to help other artists that we identified who were feeling very alone and isolated. They were often the only Christian artist in their church, or they were an artist but they didn't actually know any other artists and they weren't sure what they were doing. And to be honest, a lot of the time at the very beginning, we were just giving people permission to be artists and to get on with it, you know.
There was a lot of people who were like going, oh, so I can use my skills, because they thought like being an artist and a Christian was a really bad thing. They had still got that. I think there's still a little element of the Puritanism that was left over, that, you know, where the Puritans had gone around scrubbing the churches of all their colours. And I think there was a certain element of that was because you didn't see any contemporary art in your local church. You only saw it in the big cathedrals. You never saw it in local churches, in local places. So there is that sense of, oh, well, I can't do that. It's only for, you know, big names. Big names can do that, but not small people.
Yeah.
There is that sense of, well, why should I be able to do that?
And although they loved doing their art, they sort of couldn't see how it could be a part of their spiritual life either.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were doing a lot of that stuff at the beginning, but not that long ago we were at a retreat, and some of the things that people were saying there, we realised that the sense of isolation or doing it all on your own or not having anybody to talk to or pray with is still a really big problem for a lot of people. So we wanted to talk about that.
Oh yeah, we still find people all the time that are just on their own, and they think that they're the only one in their building, or they're the only one in their region, that they don't know that there are other people. But there are networks building up of artists all over the globe. It's not just a UK thing or a US thing. It's all over the world. So.
Yeah, it really is. So back in about 2007 or so, when we started, there was a little bit of art at something that they have here in the UK called Spring Harvest. It's run by New Wine Churches, Vineyard Churches, Vineyard Churches.
That's right.
And they did some painting as a part of their big paintings as a part of their worship. But you know, this year there was over 90 artists worshipping, painting and worshipping at David's tent, which is 72 hours of straight worship, day and night. And there were just a field of artists being involved in that. And that's not the only one. There's Creation Fest and other opportunities now for artists to know that they can go and paint as a part of worship, that painting is their worship, and they can get on with that. We've really, really come a long way. So, you know, last year I had to go and run a retreat by myself. I didn't have Donna with me. Now, I have done it on my own before, but for years it's been Donna and I going and doing this retreat at Rosie's that we really love. But she got COVID.
I did. I got the COVID. The dreaded C.
So I had to go on my own, and I really felt it. I felt I had lost my security blanket, my security Donna. And there's just something about having somebody with you, even if you don't agree with them, or you know, if you're a different sort of art or anything. It's just nice to have another artist around, another person around that's sharing at any level with your work. So I want to talk about a few of the networks that we're a part of. and maybe some ways that you can start up networks. I mean, pray about it and ask God to show you where you can fit in with somebody else, and maybe who you can support. Is there somebody who who are the artists in your church? And they're the flower arrangers sometimes.
Yeah, they're the people who are sitting there doing the overhead visuals, and they've always wanted to do something, and then nobody said, "Oh, do you know you could do this?" Or the person who's been left in charge of the children, which really annoys me. It's like my bugbear.
It is.
It's like,
just because you're an artist doesn't mean to say you're made to do the arts and crafts for the children.
Like, no, don't ask me to do that. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I love it actually, but find out who your artists are and maybe meet from time to time or do something together that's properly art, not just arts and crafts for the children. So try and find a friend. That's our first thing. Now God has just put Donna and I together, and it's definitely a supernatural thing that's happened, and we're very fortunate in that. We're different, not quite different generations. Donna is older than she looks. I have a sister her age, actually, but we are in different phases of our life. Donna still has children at home.
Yeah.
She's working in partnership with her husband. She needs to earn money for the family. She's in that part of her life. I'm not working to do anything to do with the house. I'm working to save up money to visit my Australian grandchildren. So it's a bit more of a luxury level. And I don't have children at home, and I have a whole room, actually more than one room, to put my art stuff in and to do art stuff while Donna sort of squirrels away as much as she can on a table in the end of her kitchen and a bit of stuff in a damp shed. So we're in quite different stages of our life, but we are very much together as Christians and as artists, and we're both trying to be full-time artists. I just want to do it to prove I can. but Donna needs to buy shoes for her kids, So we're at different phases in our life. So find a friend. That's the first thing, and then see what you can find with a wider group. Now, I've linked in with a group called Arising. It's in a Zoom group. The leader of that is Linda Owen Hussey, and she is in Ireland. But we have people from all over the world in that group. A lovely lady in America and people in France and Germany and all over the UK. Join in with that group. It's not a huge group. It's a nice size, actually. And we worship together, and we share where we are on our journey, and we pray for each other. And it is so valuable. It is absolutely valuable. So this morning we've got a WhatsApp group. So this morning I had some encouragement about podcasts, because Donna and I do 3 podcasts at a go.
Yes,
and
we do.
Of course, the first one, I'd forgotten everything.
It's been a whole summer holidays. We've had 6 weeks of no podcast.
Yeah, it was crazy. It felt like a bit of a rant, that first one. So we've calmed down. We've had lunch and we've calmed down a bit now. Yes. But I was nervous and worried about that, and I had lots of encouraging WhatsApp texts from that group, from that particular group. So if you're able to find a group, even if it's an online group that meets
your
once
group
a month or whatever,
it makes a big deal. I'm Parker Makers and Mystics, so that's a subscription group, so we all pay. It's come off of Makers and Mystics podcast. So Stephen Roach, and with help from Corey Frey and Stephen Homestead and Vesper Stamper and a few others, they all step in from various points. But so they have the Breath in the Clay conference, which is once, they've not had one for a couple of years, but they had one online. And they're going to do another one coming up next March. But yes, we support the podcast and what it does. So he interviews people who are writers, dancers, musicians, psychotherapists, who all, got a Christian aspect to what they do. And so as a group, we have pastors, reverends. We're all different community, but most of them are based in the States. Some of them are in Germany. There was a lady living in Japan at one point, but I haven't heard from her for a while. And it's like an accountability. We do a Friday share every week. And it's really nice just to be able to put posts up, and we do encourage each other, and we can be quite critical of each other as well. But it's good. It's kind of like having someone who's honest and go, oh, actually, yeah, if you put something over in that corner over there, that would balance, and you'd have you're going to go, oh yeah, that's really good. That's the Makers and Mystics is really good, and we have a book group as part of that, and we read a variety of books. Next one's Wizard of Oz.
Ooh, Wizard of Oz. That's interesting.
I know. So yeah, that's going to be. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to read it. I'm going to be really honest. It's like I've got so many books behind me to read that I'm like going, oh, actually, I should really finish my stack first.
Just watch the film.
Well, the book is apparently quite different, so I have never read the book because there are a whole series. But yeah.
You see what's just happened there, really. That's linking in with other people. You get new ideas, you lead to new ways of thinking. It's really good. Yesterday I visited a friend of ours called Jane, who has done her master's in art. She's done a degree in art, and she's done a master's in art. She's looking at doing a PhD. She's a lovely resource.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. So I come in, I look at what she's doing. She's doing some lovely, amazing collage stuff. She's done all sorts of things, but she because I'm a self-taught artist, so she can recommend books to me because she picks them up from a course. So I mean, we're friends, but we're both artists, so it's really great to just pick up things from her and link in with her and learn stuff. Just as I've just got this idea about Wizard of Oz from Donna. You talk about what you're doing in your life and you get different ideas. Now we have got a whole podcast on our Crit group. That's another group.
Yeah.
That came out of a training that we did. And that's fantastic. So go and listen to the Crit Group podcast, because that's another. So that's looking at each other's art critically. But it's actually a very supportive group, and particularly Donna's group. It's very, very close knit and like-minded and friendly and just lovely. And actually, one of the ladies in that group helped me write my CV and my bio and that stuff that you have to write as an artist. She supported me in that way. So, it's a wonderful, wonderful way to get these sorts of support. And we also are a part of another WhatsApp group that came out of a retreat that we share things from that group. We really connected as a part of that group, and there's some writers. Well,
a couple of writers.
There's writers, illustrators,
painters.
That poet. Amazing poet she's an American, but she's in Italy at the moment.
No, she's back in the States now.
Oh, she's back in the States. So Donna can keep track of people more than I do, because she stays on Facebook and stuff. But yes, that's another group where we get ideas. Somebody the other day said, I want to run a workshop. How do I do it? What do I do? And the advice on that was really great.
There's a lot of people who have, because we overlap each other. We're all at different stages, and that level of being able to give each other advice about, you need insurance and you need this, and it's all those things you discover as you go along, But actually, when you've got a pool of resources like that, it's that knowledge resource of actually being able to pick each other's brains and go, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. Or it's like there's a lady in Makers and Mystics, and she went on retreat, and she said, oh, what materials do I take? Because I've got to take all my materials. Where I'm going to is really, really remote, where, I'm going on this residency in Italy, but it's really remote. What do I take? And then there's a whole group of us saying, take watercolors, take things that are light to pack, see if you can, like just the descriptions of stuff that, everyone was saying, what kind of artwork do you like to do? And it was very interesting what other people were coming up with, because one lady had done a residency in France, and she's a sculptor, and she just said, oh, I just took I knew I was going to be able to pick up clay there, but I took my tools. It's like things you don't think about. Oh, she took a load of tin foil as well, which I thought was random.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that group came about, as I said, from a retreat. Now that retreat is run by Ali Gordon in Keswick, and it's running again next year.
Yes.
And you find out about that through Morphe Arts. I'll spell that for you. Or
Keswick Conventions.
Or Keswick Conventions is probably better. Keswick Convention, that's the third week of Keswick Convention, is for creative people.
It's called the Unconventional.
The Unconventional.
Convention, yes.
So if you're we can't go to everything. Donna and I've not been to everything.
No, and there's things like, I know, and there's another one called Hutch, which happens in the States. It started off in the States, run by Andrew Peterson, but they've had weekends in the UK as well. And you're like, I just can't do everything. I'd love to be able to go to it, but then things like, you just can't. Yeah. So you just pick and choose. Like Creation Fest is in Cornwall, and then St David's Tent has been held in just outside Worthing at Stenning, and you're like thinking, but I've heard a rumour that's moving. I don't know how true that is. And then there's Keswick, and then
and we're in the middle, and there's nothing around us. So Morphe is spelt Morphe.
Like morph, like the character morph.
Yes. But it's pronounced Morphe. And if you want to sort of link in with them. Now they do online teaching and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And they're really good people to connect into.
Yeah, they have an email that comes out quite regularly as well.
Yeah, exactly.
They have a base in Scotland, London, and Wales.
Yeah,
but not one over here.
And good people, academic. They know what they're doing. They're they're in galleries and writers and dancers and musicians and all sorts again.
Yeah, but they're all for people of all different levels. So I think they originally were set out to help students, but obviously those students have left and graduated and and then they have
students who had finished their course and were about to start their art life and they didn't really know what to do.
No, I think they were actually whilst you're a student as well.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to double check.
I know.
I just want to tell you about one more person that you can link into. It's John Alto.
Yep.
He's a good friend of mine now, or us actually, and he does something called Belonging House. You look up Belonging House. Christ, spelt Christ but pronounced Christ. John Alto, and he's got an online church called Belonging House. He calls the Sunday meeting something different, but I can't remember what it is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oops, Donna's gone. There she is back.
Is it called Beth Karasin? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And he's somebody worth linking into as well. He's got a little network of people that support each other. And so if you're really isolated and you need an online arts church, that's what he is. His teaching's very good as well. So Yeah, so he's somebody else you can link in with. But
yeah, but also I'd like to say we met loads of friends when we went and did Worship Academy, which doesn't exist now, but that's where we, our lovely Jay and Sue and Dave and Diane and the people who we've met who have supported us when we've been doing workshops and retreat days, and they've done all our worship and stuff for us and supported us. That, yeah. So but that's that thing of actually, it's also, there's a level of braveness required to reach out to people, because you don't know who the other person is at the other end. But yeah, there is a level of, oh, I'd really like to do this, but I don't know. Yeah, there's a level of braveness required.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I have this philosophy in life: is suck it and see. give it a go. Try it out and see what you can do. And of course, this beautiful dust, Donna and I, we're here. Donna Drew, an artist. Glenda Gibbs, an artist, on Facebook, Instagram. On Instagram, it's Donna A. Druin.
It is, with little underscores, because somebody else is Donna Druin.
So that's there, or you can contact us through by email, or however you want to contact us. If I can get my act together, probably through these podcasts, if you can work out how to do that. Get in touch with us. We are always ready to have a chat, to encourage somebody, to help you find the next step, to organise a meetup, all that sort of thing. We want to increase how we support people, which is actually why we're doing these podcasts.
Yeah, it is. It is, because we get asked questions, and even if we don't know the answers, we know somebody else might know the answer, and we can get.
Yeah, because we aren't experts.
No, we're just
we're just two artists sharing what we can do. And I mean, that's what this isolation thing is all about, just sharing with other people what you can.
But also, there is a thing about standing up in church and just saying, hey, I'd like, talk to your priest, talk to your reverend, your pastor, and saying, hi, could I do this, and I would like to know if there's anybody else in this church who does this. They might actually know someone. They might actually be able to go, oh yeah, so and so, and you sit over there.
It's probably the weird one that you don't want to get to know.
The one who wears the felt hat with the funny sprigs on it, that one.
It's always funny.
It is always funny. I remember we did a session with Jane, and she was going, who is your audience? And we drew this person who was wearing a dress and trousers.
Oh, I remember that session.
That was a good session.
Mode of transport was something that could fly, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it had wheels. Yeah, it was like a hot air balloon.
Could do everything.
Yeah.
Typical Donna, could do everything.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's all we need to say about isolation. But don't be isolated. Reach out and see where it's going. See where it's going to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love you.
We do. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So goodbye. And thank you.